all, this is Tina from Artisan Savons. Today we are going to be making the Artisan Savons Pipeable Butter Frosting. So this would be used for bath bombs, so things like a bath bomb donut. So this is actually the frosting. You can see it's quite firm. It's not as solid as a bath bomb, obviously. I mean, if you push really hard you can sort of push it in, but it's solid enough to post and package and survive all that sort of thing, and it's really dead easy to pipe. So that's what we're going to make today. Now, it is not a bubble frosting. It does have SLSA and cocoa betaine in it, which are bubbling agents, but for this purpose it is a butter frosting. You're not going to get bubbles from this. This is not its job. If you do happen to get bubbles from this, good for you, but that's not what we're aiming for. We're aiming for a nice butter frosting that's going to add extra moisturizer, etc. to your bath. So the first thing we're going to do for this recipe is add all of our powdered ingredients in together. Okay, so I've added my powders into my bowl. I've attached my whisk attachment. I'm going to add in also my neon pink mica. And just pop it on low, and while we have that on low, we are going to melt our butters. Okay, so we have this all set up here ready to go. Just place my bowl in properly. Just to the side. So we've got our whisk attachment on. That's what we want for this one. It's going to help aerate those powders, remove the lumps, and basically just combine it all together nice and evenly. So I'm just going to pop that down. Now, you do not have to use a bench mixer for this. You can use a hand mixer or hand beater. You could also use a whisk if you don't have either of those things. I'm sure it would work. Honestly, guys, this recipe is so easy that I think you could even do it with a spatula. So, but I just find I'm lazy and this is here, so I may as well use it. So I'm just going to pop it onto, now this is a Kenwood K-Mix, nothing fancy, but I'm just going to pop it to the minimum. So the first, you can see it's not fast at all. It's just going to help those mix together. Now while that's going, I'm going to go and put my cocoa butter and my shea butter together and melt them in the microwave. It is all well combined. I also have here our melted shea butter and our melted cocoa butter. All I'm going to do is incorporate this while our mixer is on low and add that in, and it should start to mix in really nicely. I've got to put my whisk back in. I had to take it out because the camera would not focus. Just wanted to focus on the whisk, as you can see. So I'm going to pop that back down, and I'm going to turn it on to low or minimum before number 1. It's like half a 1. So I'm just going to start pouring that in, and do half on this side and half on the other just to make sure it mixes in nicely. Now this is still quite warm, but that's okay because it will cool down. You can see it's sort of, I don't know whether you can really see that. I'm doing the best I can with this camera. It just doesn't want to play nice today. I'll move you guys off the tripod and see what I can do. Oh, there you go. So you can see it's sort of coming together. I'm just going to stop it in a second, and then I'm going to scrape down those sides, and we can add in the cocoa betaine and the fragrance. I'm just going to stop it now. Mix that up. So you can see it's quite soupy. Don't stress, don't panic. If you've weighed everything like the recipe says, it will be fine. As long as you weigh everything, there's really no way you can sort of stuff this up. I mean, so if you've gotten to this point, it's kind of like an icing, like a normal cake icing, not like a frosting. So I'm just going to mix that in a little bit. Make sure there's no dry patches, and then turn it back on. that off on there so that I'm not scraping on the sides. There was a lump in there. This is why you should sift first. I didn't, and I never do because I'm too lazy. Alright, so the next thing we're going to add in is our cocoa betaine. Just in there like that. Try and scrape it all in because it's not very much, it's sort of just enough. And we're also going to add in our fragrance. Today I am doing a watermelon fragrance. I actually have nothing to pipe, nothing that needs piping, so I'm actually just going to pipe on like a baking paper sheet just to show you guys how it does pipe. Alright, so those are in. Now I'm going to pop this back down, turn it on, just to sort of mix those through, and then we're going to turn it up on the highest speed for about a minute to a minute and a half. So you can see it sort of starts to separate a little bit. Don't panic. You haven't stuffed it up, it's just mixing in with all the rest of it. It'll fluff back out, I promise. Alright, so we're going to bump it up a little bit. And we will stop it in a sec and scrape those sides down because you can see there's a little bit of build up on the sides here. Alright, so just stopping it. I know it looks terrible, give it a chance. Alright, now we're going to pop it back down onto full speed. So we've done 30 seconds at full speed. I just want to scrape down those sides again. You can see it's slowly starting to come together properly. It's good consistency. Just want to scrape down those sides because I want it all at the consistency, not just part of it. Back up to full speed. Alright, so that second whip was exactly a minute and that's done. This is it now. So we're just going to, I've never whipped it past this. You probably could if you really wanted to try. I've never done it past this because with cooking, in my experience with cooking, not with soap making, but with cooking, I tend to have a habit of over whipping things, so I probably stop it before is actually necessary. So I'm just going to stop this here. Okay, so as you can see, I have two piping tips here. I have a closed twisted star tip. This is quite a big tip. It's quite long and it's quite open. Now this is a smaller tip. It is an open star tip, but it's a smaller girth. I've never used the smaller tip with this recipe, but today I'm going to give it a go just to see if it will work. I know with a lot of frosting recipes it doesn't tend to work with a smaller tip. The bigger the tip, the better. Alright, just give it a bit of a turn so you can see this is what our frosting looks like. I'm just going to go and fill these piping bags. So I'm going to start with the closed star tip first, just because I know that's going to work. So I'm probably going to put the majority in there. So this is the small one. Let's try the small one first, just to see if it is actually going to work. You can see I've done a tiniest little amount here because I just, oops, sorry there, so. Just squeezing that out. Alright, oops, I poked on there already. It's quite smushy. Alright, so this is the small piping tip. Can you guys see here? So you'll see how easily, it actually is going to pipe really well with a small tip, I think. I'm piping at a weird angle, so I apologise if it looks weird. So there's our first. Now I have to find something to use these for. Oops, I had an air bubble in there. I have a big air bubble in there. Oops. Alright, just excuse that one, it's ugly. Alright, so you can see it will work with our small tips as well, but I'll go ahead and show you our big tip. It pipes really easy. Just excuse my piping. I'm a soap maker, I'm not a baker. So there you go. I think I'm actually curious. I'm going to grab another tip if I can find it. I want to see if I can make sprinkles. This will be a real test. Alright, let's give this a real test, okay? This is a piping test. This is the smallest tip I own. You can see it's not much bigger in length than my finger. The tip on it is teeny tiny and it's just an open tip. So I just want to see. Clearly I can't pipe straight. So there you go, it'll even pipe out of a teeny tiny little tip. You can see they're holding their form really well. I'm going to go and do a couple more lines because I've actually now got an idea for this. Go this way. And this is not setting up on me, I could probably do this for a while. Oops, we've got a bit of a curling on there. So, okay, my piping's not perfect. Whoops. Alright, so that's Artisan Savons buttered frosting. I've still got plenty in there, but I'm going to stop here. Alright, just to go on from how it sets up, this is still the fresh piping, so I'm not going to do it with this. This is from the same batch that I piped yesterday. Let me just turn that light your way, not mine. So this is from the same batch that I piped yesterday. You can see, oops, I just broke the bath bomb. It's quite hard. It doesn't break off, but because I've now tapped it on the bench, you are going to get flat spots. Now if I squeeze it, now ready, I don't want to make a mess, but if I squeeze it really hard, it is going to crumble. But that's okay, because again, it's going to be fine in packaging. It's going to be tough enough to stand up to that packaging. Okay, have a great day, bye. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought of this recipe and this video. If you would like to purchase the recipe, I will have it up on my website as soon as possible, which is www.artisansavon.com. And of course, after everything, subscribe. We'd love to have you join the channel. Have a great day.